everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we are going to be continuing Naruto Rebirth Cycle of Hatred. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 7. But as always, if you are new to the channel or if you're a regular and like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. So far in the story, we're about halfway to the events of the Pain Arc. Now, the Pain Arc, for those of you who don't know, is where we're going to be hitting our next stopgap, if you will. Since I don't want to try to drag the series out too long in case it ends up losing its momentum and its popularity. So keep that in mind going forward with a lot of these videos. I'm going to be having little stopgaps here and there where you'll have to hit a certain like goal for the story to continue. And if not, then I'll just leave the series there. But you know, that's just something to keep in mind with the stories that I'm doing going forward. Also, with this video, I am feeling a little under the weather. I was able to get out most of the dialogue for the story along with the descriptions for the fight. Although I am going to say there is some stuff that I am going to be leaving out to make room for others. So do keep that in mind going forward. While one fight I am going to be giving a lot of attention to, I'm going to be shortening it with another, but I do hope it'll be to your enjoyment. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sakura, Log, and Suigetsu would begin their journey, arriving to the village hidden in the waterfalls, a smaller nation that lied between that of the Hidden Stone Village and the Hidden Cloud Village. They had been walking for almost 3 days straight, as they had begun their journey in search for the members of the Akatsuki. For Sakura, this was her own way of contributing. The guilt and the insecurity that she had felt for so long, it had been eating inside of her, causing her to want to do her best in her own way. You see, this version of Sakura is a lot different from the one you might be aware of. You could say that this is a version of Sakura who took her future into her own hands, walking down a path that not many would have the courage to go through. But she had come out on the other side a lot stronger for it. And in some ways, it was actually thanks to Naruto and Sasuke's efforts she was able to do so. Even for Sakura, for as powerful as she had become, even she would have to admit taking down Orochimaru would not have been as easy if it hadn't been for the aid of Sasuke and Naruto. At least unbeknownst in the fact that they were able to cripple him to a point. On top of him already needing to switch bodies so soon, it was only stacking the deck in her favor. However, now that was a favor she wanted to return. The only way she could. Taking down the Akatsuki and finding Itachi Uchiha. To prove that she wasn't useless, that she could help them. She was going to do something that she thought neither of them would be able to do. Of course, she wasn't alone in her efforts. While she served under Orochimaru, she learned many things, including the fact that he had a clone of himself, if you will, kept hidden under one of his labs. That clone went by the name of Log. Once she freed Log from his captivity, they made their plans known, and as such, they were able to jump and kill Orochimaru. Afterwards, freeing Suigetsu as well. Now the three-man team was beginning their hunt for the Akatsuki together. And with the help that they had gotten from Kabuto with the bingo book needed, they knew exactly what members they'd be looking for. But what was leading them to the waterfall village? Well, after searching through some rather shady areas that they had come across, they were able to gather enough information to know where some of the Akatsuki were making their move, and that some of the roster had changed. Following the death of Sasuke, Deidara was in need of a new partner. But what he got was two partners, one in the form of Juzo, a former member of the Hidden Mist Village, and now wielder of the Executioner's Blade, and also carrying the Rinnegan in one of his eyes, which he had taken from the Valley of Hell from a member of the Chinoiki clan, as a spoil of war, if you will. Even though he only had the one eye, its power was far more immense than one could imagine. The ability to control and manipulate blood went hand in hand with the Executioner's Blade, a sword that could be broken and rebuilt using the blood iron from individuals that it cut through. And the Rinnegan was perfect for casting almost invincible genjutsu. Deidara wasn't too fond of it, but at least it wasn't the Sharingan, or that other eye. And then there was Toby, a strange individual to say the least. He had an odd set of jutsu, and he was kind of an annoyance, but for now, the three-man team was going to have to work together. The Akatsuki had already begun capturing the tailed beasts. So far, they had managed to get their hands on the one-tails. The two-tails had been taken, and Hidan and Kakazu were making their way to the Land of Fire. The three-tails had been captured by Toby, Juzo, and Deidara, the four tails by Itachi and Kisame, the five tails also by Itachi and Kisame. The leader of the Akatsuki personally saw to the capture of the six tails, and now the team of Deidara, Juzo, and Toby were on their way to capture the seventh. In the Hidden Waterfall Village, a village that was smaller and not as well protected as the other great nations, they weren't really all that much of a threat when it came to taking the seven tails. In fact, they were able to do so with little to no fuss. Once they found a secluded area, they were hoping to begin the ritual to extract the tailed beast. To be more specific, Juzo and Deidara would begin the process, and Toby was supposed to keep watch. The keyword supposed to. Sakura would use one of her snake summonings to search the area. The snake, being able to move through small crevices and caves, would eventually come across where they were being kept and finding what the Akatsuki were up to. Sakura would lead the others into position as they would begin, ready to make their move against the Akatsuki at any moment. Someone would have to keep Toby distracted on the outside, and Suigetsu decided he would play that role. As Toby stood watch outside of the cave, Suigetsu would approach him casually. "Halt! Who goes there? Hey, calm down now. I didn't mean you any harm. I'm just wondering what you're doing all the way out here in these parts." Like I tell you that? Yeah, right. For all I know, you could be an enemy ninja. Nah, nothing like that. I've been abandoned by my village a long time ago. Oh, is that so? What village are you from? Hidden Mist. You don't say. Well, we actually have someone from the Hidden Mist ourselves. Really? What's his name? Oh, the name's Juzo. I wasn't supposed to say that. Oh, don't worry. I know Big Brother Juzo. What? Big Brother? Oh, is he your senpai? You can say that. I've actually come here because I'm looking for something. Oh, really? What's that? Before Toby knew what hit him, Suigetsu used one of his swords to slice through him, believing that he had taken him down with ease. I don't really like using this thing. I want to get my hand on the Executioner's Blade. That's really what I'm after. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's exactly what the... Hold on. I know I cut you in half. You think so? I don't feel like I'm cut in half. I feel fine. Suigetsu would try again, only there would be nothing. The sword passed right through Toby. It was like it never harmed him at all. Just what the hell are you? You know, I don't even know myself. I think it all started when I was born. While Suigetsu engaged with Toby, in the meantime, the Akatsuki were nearing at 50% of having the Seven Tails extracted. Fu was yelling in excruciating pain, before finally the ritual would be disrupted. Log would draw his sword out immediately, clashing with Juzo, while Deidara would attempt to back and create space. Only Sakura would create a sword made out of bone from the palm of her hand, stabbing him in the shoulder against the wall. What the? Who the hell are you? It doesn't really matter now, does it? Sakura would say. I come here for one thing and one thing only. You're going to tell me where I can find Itachi Uchiha. Itachi? That second-rate amateur, that's who you're after? Deidara would get angry at this. As he reached his hand into his back pocket to chew on some of his explosive clay, he would keep Sakura talking. And just what the hell do you want with Itachi? He's obviously a teammate of yours. This is the Akatsuki, is it not? Juzo would continue fighting against Log, the two of them being pretty even as Log wielded his sword, that being the Kusanagi blade, the grass cutter, clashing against the executioner's blade. So what? You came here for Itachi? Well, that, and we can't let you get away with what you're doing to that girl there. Fu would be dropped to the ground, the ritual disrupted, and the Akatsuki trying to figure out what had happened. We just want information about Itachi, and I think we'll be taking her with us. Well, we can't really let you do that now, can we? Then I guess we're at an impasse. Deidara would tell Juzo to duck as he threw out a couple of his clay spiders. They clung to the ceiling, causing a massive explosion. Log would grab Fu off the ground and exit the cave with Sakura, Deidara and Juzo following close behind, while Suigetsu fought against Toby. Once they all cleared out of the cave and landed into the forest, the sides would be placed and the battle line would be drawn. Suigetsu, Sakura, and Log versus Deidara, Juzo, and Toby. Deidara-senpai, what are we gonna do? I didn't think we'd be found by these enemy ninja. Shut it, Toby. I need to concentrate. I'm still not at 100% right now. It took a lot more than I thought it would to take down the Seven Tails. I'm still not fully recovered after facing against that damned Uchiha. But it doesn't matter. These are just second-rate amateurs. There's no way they can take us on. Is that what you think? Deidara would then see that his legs were binded by that of two snakes that bit into them, sending in a dose of paralyzing poison. He found it hard to move. Sakura would start weaving hand signs as multiple snakes started to emerge from her body. Snakes. Orochimaru. You're one of his disciples, aren't you? Was is the key term. Orochimaru is dead. What? What do you mean he's dead? Log would smirk. We killed him. What? Juzo would say, backing away from Log once again, the two swordsmen standing at the ready. You mean you actually killed Orochimaru? Sakura would smirk. I did. And I'm gonna do the same to you unless you give me what I want. I want to know where I can find Itachi Uchiha. Like I'll ever tell you. It doesn't matter. In the end of the day, even if you did kill Orochimaru, you're still no match for me, you damn brat. I'll show you the difference between us. Deidara would shake off the snakes. As he backed away once again, he would start using his clay creations to create a series of explosives to try to keep Sakura at a distance, while Juzo would activate the Rinnegan to battle against Log, and Suigetsu would find himself entangled with Toby. The battle in the waterfalls would commence. But in the meantime, what was happening in the Hidden Leaf Village? Well, after their mission at Tenchi Bridge, with the information they had learned, it was time for Konoha to go on the assault. This was known as the Akatsuki Hunt Task Force, created by Lady Tsunade. The purpose? To try to capture or kill the Akatsuki at any cost. And for Sasuke, this would lead him one step closer to finding Itachi. It would begin when two Akatsuki members were located in the Land of Fire, as they had attacked the Fire Temple and had captured one of the Fire Temple's guardians. Asuma, being a former guardian himself, would be especially close to the mission, as he and Shikamaru would be tasked with going. Of course, they would look to see what other shinobi they could add to their team. When they saw two in particular, it was a no-brainer that they would tag along. That being Sasuke Uchiha and Kakashi Hatake. Of course, Naruto wanted to tag along himself, but he would be denied. Seeing as how they would be facing the Akatsuki, it was unwise to put the Nine Tails in danger like that. Of course, Naruto didn't like the idea of just standing on the sidelines and doing nothing. But thankfully, Jiraiya would return around this time. He would remind Naruto that for all of his efforts while he was training, there was something that they needed to complete. Of course, Jiraiya wasn't going to be staying for too long, but now Naruto would have something to keep him occupied. Tsunade would ask what this was, and Jiraiya would explain it was completing the Rasengan. Well, to be more specific, completing the final step to Naruto's ultimate Rasengan. Tsunade would inquire about this, with Jiraiya explaining that during their training trip, Naruto was able to add a change in chakra nature to the Rasengan, but not a change in chakra form, that being the wind-style Rasengan. However, Naruto still had to apply a change in chakra form. That was something he hadn't gotten to yet. And seeing as how there was some downtime he could have now, he could use it to improve and get stronger. Of course, Naruto would take up to the challenge of combining the change in chakra nature to the change in chakra form, finally applying two aspects to the Rasengan at once. Karin would be curious about this as well. She could technically perform the regular Rasengan, although with her training with Tsunade, she never really thought of the need to have a change in chakra form or to add a change in chakra nature. Jiraiya would tell her to consider going about it, as she was a perfect Uzumaki. If anyone was capable of finding another means of using the Rasengan, it would be her. As such, the two would work on their Rasengan training, while Kakashi, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Asuma would deal with the threat of Hidan and Kakuzu. Unlike in the original timeline, where this was an uphill battle from the start, the Akatsuki would find themselves on the back foot. Even with Hidan and Kakuzu being aware of Sasuke having the Rinnegan, to say that the fight would be an uphill battle would be an understatement. Hidan would be immobilized almost immediately by the combined efforts of Sasuke and Shikamaru. Shikamaru capturing Hidan with the Shadow Possession Jutsu, and Sasuke finishing him off with a clean cut to the neck, causing Hidan's head to roll. Once Kakuzu got involved, he would find himself occupied with the likes of Kakashi and with Asuma, forcing him to use his multiple hearts and his thread-like monster forms to try to add for backup. However, Sasuke being here would be the ultimate counter, as Sasuke would have all 5 changes in chakra nature to counter and match each one of Kakuzu's masks, and on top of that, with his Rinnegan abilities, he would be far too overwhelming for Kakuzu to deal with. One by one, the mask would fall, until eventually, Kakuzu would be dealt a fatal blow. The combined might of Sasuke and of Kakashi, as they would use a double-bladed lightning blade, each one piercing him in the chest, causing his ultimate demise. With the defeat of the Akatsuki in hand, Hidan would be taken back to the Hidden Leaf Village, where he would be interrogated personally by Ibiki and the members of the Interrogation Corps. Of course, it would be a lot harder than one might think, and Sasuke would be called in. Sasuke wondering if he could use any of the Rinnegan's powers to make Hidan speak. After concentrating and focusing, Sasuke would open his eyes. Using his genjutsu prowess, Hidan would be hypnotized, causing him to spill any information that he could about the Akatsuki and their whereabouts. However, the moment he tried to do so, Hidan's mind would absolutely break. A special seal had been placed on him, in case anyone had tried to get a member of the Akatsuki to speak, and seeing how Hidan was the weakest and most likely to be susceptible, he would be left as nothing more but a comatose vegetable of a state. Not much information could be gathered. With that, Shikamaru would suggest burying his body within the Nara clan's forest, a place where he could be watched upon forever, and where he'd have no chance of escaping. In the meantime, Naruto and Karin would continue improving in the Rinnegan training. Karin looking to apply the water element to the Rinnegan, while Naruto was able to get down and learn the Rasen Shuriken, with Kakashi and Sasuke watching over him for moral support as he eventually got the jutsu. Of course, the Hidden Leaf would still continue their pursuit of the Akatsuki. With now 2 more members down, it looked like they were finally breaking into the ranks. Of course, for Sasuke, he was left with a lot of anxiety. What was he going to do when he faced Itachi? What was he going to say? How would the fight go? Of course, Sasuke still wanted revenge. That hadn't changed, but his overall thoughts towards revenge, that was a different story. Sasuke would spend nights dreaming of that moment, the day when he'd take Itachi's life. It used to bring him satisfaction, but now, or rather, ever since he got the Rinnegan, his emotions no longer fed him the power it once did. In a weird way, he didn't feel hatred towards his brother. He hated him, but it wasn't a vitriol hate, a bloodlusting hatred that just kept him up at night, that kept him focused on one thing. No. This time, he just felt sad. It was bad enough he lost all of his family, and now he'd have to kill the last of it. He'd be the only one left. What was the point of celebrating that? Unknown to Sasuke, the Rinnegan was affecting him in ways that even he could not fully understand. Unknown to him, he had actually been broken free of the cycle of hatred. Of course, the mysteries of the Rinnegan and the Sharingan were not going to be revealed to him yet, but in due time he would understand. However, one night as he sat in his room, looking up at the ceiling in the dark, a crow would land on his windowsill. Sasuke jumped up immediately as the crow vanished, and looming in the shadows of his room, he saw a pair of glowing red eyes. It's not really you, is it? So you're able to see through that as well. I'm through playing your games, Itachi. I'm not the same boy you knew back then. What is the meaning of this? The time has come, Sasuke. I can't ignore you anymore. Is that right? The old Uchiha hideout. What about it? If you think you're ready, I'll be waiting for you there. What's your game, Itachi? Itachi would narrow his eyes. All of this. It seems like you're getting everything you want in this exchange. But why? You couldn't have calculated I would have attained the Rinnegan. Even you aren't that perceptive. You're right. It means my little brother has gotten a lot stronger than I could have imagined. But in the end, it doesn't matter how big of a sword you wield if you don't know how to use it. And yet I can recall those years ago. You ran away from me. Why? Were you that unsure of yourself? I've only gotten stronger since then. You invite me to a challenge. You're only inviting your own demise. So our little Sasuke's finally grown up. If you think you can back those words, come and find me, foolish little brother. Immediately, the eyes would vanish, and the crow was gone. Itachi was calling him out, but was Sasuke ready for this? Deep down, Sasuke knew this day was coming, and now there was no choice but to follow through. Tsunade would be informed by Sasuke of what had happened, and now she was left with a choice. Would she let Sasuke go alone to face off against Itachi? She had promised him she'd let him do it, but at the same time, the Akatsuki were too big of a deal to just be let off to the wayside. Of course, Sasuke wanted to go alone, but Tsunade was going to allow a team to accompany him. Sasuke would ask who would be a part of this team, and Tsunade would tell him to wait at the gate, and he'd see for himself. When the morning came and Sasuke arrived, he'd see who was waiting for him. Kakashi, Naruto, and Karin. All three standing there, waiting for Sasuke with an open smile. Sasuke was going to protest, but Naruto walked up to him first. I understand why you have to do what you have to do. Of course, we would all want to fight with you, but this is something you feel you have to do on your own. But just know we're going to be there for support. Kakashi would follow up. We're going to allow you to handle Itachi alone. However, if things turn south for any reason, understand, whether you like it or not, we are going to intervene. Karin would smile as well. You're not alone in this, Sasuke. We can do it together. You're all a bunch of idiots. Sasuke would walk past them all. Well, come on. No point keeping them waiting. With that, Team 7 would leave off for the Uchiha hideout. In the meantime, in a cave far off to the south of the waterfall countries, Sakura would be bandaging her arm, along with Log and Suigetsu, as well as their new teammate, Fu. You guys saved me? Well, I wouldn't be saying saved. You just happened to be in the area, and I mean, we just couldn't let the Akatsuki get away with whatever they wanted, now could we? Suigetsu would chime in. Sakura would then speak up. There's no point in leaving you to yourself. The Akatsuki would have most likely have just come after you again. And whether you want to admit it or not, we all live in this world. If the Akatsuki ruin it, then they ruin it for all of us. That sounds simple enough. But you're going after the Akatsuki? I'm just going after one in particular. And I believe I know where to find him. Really? Who? I'm going after Itachi Uchiha. I've heard of him. He's a very world-renowned S-rank criminal. Not someone to be underestimated. And you guys are going to kill him? Well, that's the plan at least, Suigetsu would say, as he swung the executioner's blade on his back. Still can't believe we were able to take those guys down. We didn't take them down, Log would say. We barely escaped with our lives. Can't believe he would take himself out like that. The both of them. Yeah, the Ketsurigan's dangerous. If it could allow someone to go out that way, there's nothing of them left. Well, what about the rest of you? What are your goals? Log would light a cigarette. I'm just following Sakura. Personally, I really don't care where I go. Suigetsu? Oh, yeah. I'm collecting all 7 of the 7 swordsman blades. I've already got Executioner Blade here, and there's another member of the Akatsuki I need to tangle with. He's got Samehada, and I want to get my hands on that. I see. What about you, Fu? You think you can go back to your village? I doubt it. They think I'm a monster there. I only bring misfortune and pain to them all. I doubt I'd be welcome. They were so eager to let me go in the first place. Then why don't you stick with us? Log would say. There's strength in numbers. We can keep you safe. Yeah, but you're going near one of the Akatsuki. How I know this isn't just a trap to get me killed again? Come on, if this was really a trap, then would we have saved you the first time? Suigetsu would chime in. With that logic, Fu would have to take them up on the offer. Besides, maybe she could find refuge in another village. Sakura would then tell her that the Hidden Leaf would more than welcome her, she thought. The Hidden Leaf. She had heard some good things about it. Maybe they wouldn't be so bad. After Fu recovered, she would ask where they were going to go. Sakura explaining they were heading to the Land of Fire. If the Akatsuki were going to be making their moves there, Itachi might not be far behind. And with the little bit of information they were able to get from Deidara and Juzo before their deaths, then that would be their next target. Sakura, using her deductive and reasoning skills, would know that there was one area in the Land of Fire where they might be, and that was where they were going to go as well. But Sakura and Sasuke, they wouldn't be the only ones invested in this fight. In the dark underbelly of Konoha, Danzo Shimura would sit with the Root. Itachi Uchiha has been a pain in my side for a long time. And now his brother wields the Rinnegan. Such power should not be left in the hands of the Uchiha. Then what are you going to do, Lord Danzo? It's simple. We're going to take out the last of the Uchiha. And what about the members of Team 7? Collateral damage. The Nine Tails has been left to roam too freely under Tsunade. The will of fire passed on by that idiotic Hiruzen will doom us all. The Nine Tails will be kept under lock and key as it should be. We'll deal with Hatake. His Sharingan should be in our possession as well. The Uzumaki girl is of no concern. Maybe we can keep her and she can be some use down the line. But I am going to restore order. Once I have the Rinnegan in my possession, Tsunade won't be able to stop me. The Hidden Leaf will be under proper control. Now we set out at once. Time is of the essence. This concludes Naruto Rebirth, Cycle of Hatred. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 7. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for post notifications. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reborn in Konosuba? But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.